Hello, this is Irene. I'm a designer in Goodnotes and I work in our AI features. In this session, we will cover the details and decisions that let us evolve Goodnotes AI to what it is today, from sketches to future ideas and everything that's yet to come. With Goodnotes AI, we wanted to bring a partner that you can brainstorm and collaborate with. I'd like to ask my colleague Izzy, what were the interactions problems that we had to solve and start from scratch?
Hey, we've already seen what a chat-based interface can do. Ask Goodnotes was a great first step for us, but we knew we could go further. Chatting with an AI is useful, right? But it's still a mode switch. It separates the thinking from the doing. Our ambition this time was to design a model that feels more like true collaborator, not just a smarter assistant. So we ask ourselves how we bring intelligence into your workflow without taking you out of it. So this was a UX challenge more than anything else. We had to unlearn a lot of assumptions that we had before. So the AI needs to live in a sidebar, that you have to type a perfect prompt to get something useful, and that AI happens outside of your work and you bring it to results in afterwards. So we ask ourselves a question: what if the AI shows up inside your work at the right time with the right action and disappears when it's done? That would be awesome, right? So one metaphor that really shaped our thinking was how we work together as a distributed team. Our best work doesn't happen in isolation, right? So it happens in Slack threads, async handoffs, Figma comments. So where we build on each other's thinking. We were discussing this actually today during our meeting. The same dynamic inspired how we designed the agent. So we didn't want AI to give you answers. We wanted it to give you a starting point, something you could reshape, rewrite, undo, or improve. That's why we made things on Canvas agent messages instead of the sidebar. Local chat scope to a specific draft, so feedback feels more personal to users, and also like undo, redo, approval flow built into the interaction, because interaction is the core for users' creativity. We also designed with the idea that the first try might be good, but it can always get better. So, and the better version that comes through your direction. So not just the model's output. So we built flow where you can ask for variations, you can refine with feedback, and most importantly, I think you stay in control as a user. So looking back, Ask Goodnotes was a great foundation, as you know. It gave us a real signals on what people wanted, what confused them, and what were trust breaks. But we knew we wanted to push beyond a question-answer model and design something much more collaborative. We'll go deeper into Ask Goodnotes in a second, for sure. But first, I wanted to go back to the beginning. So we had a big idea, a new kind of AI interaction model, right? But how do we actually make that real? Irene, you work on our secret discovery project, one of the first deep dives into the concept. Can you share with us, how do you take a new interaction model and turn it into something you could prototype and test and trust?
Sure, Izzy. So let's begin with the very first concepts and walk through them. We began with the assumption that in order to get support editing a document through AI, you could simply ask it on the spot what to do. It will be a linear command, so if you needed something, an addition or a transformation, it will just be added below what you are selecting. So in this example, you see this user is a lawyer and it's trying to create a strategy statement, and it's asking with this input field to make some changes to some lists. And this sort of commands will be within your document, generating that content that you're asking to the AI. And you could transform things and so on. Well, we built this idea, we shared it with users, and it was quite positive. But some aspects that were not that clear to them was that it felt too much like I give you an input, I give you a command, and you give me a result. There was not this natural feeling of collaboration, of back and forth that we wanted to maintain to feel natural with the AI. So we knew we were going towards the right direction, but we needed to think a bit further. We pivoted and decided, let's continue bringing in more natural language inputs, meaning chat interfaces. As we know, these are already working really good with Ask Goodnotes, and take a step further with them. So we said, let's put this idea aside and begin this chat agent interface. We started working also on mobile because we know how many of our users have been asking, I want to quickly type down their notes on the go. And with agents, this can be done really fast. Any idea can be materialized quickly on the spot. So some of our first prototypes were mobile-based, where you ask the agent via chat what to write, and it will be generated. And then you can always continue asking the agent and editing the document yourself. So it was a helper, a collaborator on the spot. We brought this experience to iPad and Mac as well, and we kept the document area in one side and the chat in the other. Very similar again to our approach with Ask Goodnotes, but this time we wanted to be able to connect parts of the document with your suggestions by AI, so you can review and iterate together of them. So when we build this prototype and share it internally with our colleagues, we gathered a lot of learnings from them. We took this approach so that we will first sense check if there is any potential here, and if it will work for our own productivity in the team. So there were many feedbacks that you see here on the screen. We went through a lot of back and forth and refinements on the prototypes, and we collected a few decisions. First of all, we realized that now you have this split of the document and the agent, that it's not working as seamless as we hoped. For some, the chat is the only source of truth, for others, the document. So any changes that it's done in one area or the other need to be quite up to date. We needed to make this more connected. And the idea that we tried then was to bring these chats to the document and have another way of talking to the agent, which was in the interface itself of your document. These are some early sketches of those ideas. The concept was you can select parts of the document, either some text or some diagram sketches that you do, and begin a quick conversation and ask or review things on that spot. So you no longer need to reference back and forth with the sidebar. We got quite some good confidence on these ideas, getting really good feedback from users, internally and but also externally. We built prototypes that showed that more than half the people that tested the app wanted to follow up on the document, and the rest knew that they would like to continue chatting to the agent on the sidebar. So we collected these learnings and sketches and defined certain patterns that will help in this collaboration with your agent. We call them a local chat. You see that this was good for edits, tweaking, refining things, but if you still wanted to ask questions or get a full new document started, or just prefer typical conversation back and forth, we still kept this historical chat accessible for you. With these high-level patterns, we then began our third proof of concept. We built a brand new app on the web in which you were able to test these patterns and really get awesome results with the agent. By doing this work, we tested a few of our own templates that we use in-house for making decisions with agents, like rapid docs, and you were able to ask it on the spot to do certain things, and you will get results and review it. These patterns might look very familiar because they are the ones that have stayed with us until today for our new AI features. And we couldn't be more proud of having brought them to you with a lot of testing, iterations, learnings, and failures.
Oh yes, I remember those daily design jams so clearly. The energy was insane, but in the best way ever, right? So we were moving fast, sketching ideas live, challenging each other. It really felt like we were shaping something big together. It was very chaotic and a bit messy, but honestly so rewarding. You could feel that something real was starting to take shape. It was insane. Yeah, when I first started this work, almost 2 years ago, I think, we really were starting from scratch. We didn't have a clear information model for AI in a note-taking app. It was a big open space and we had to explore everything from scratch. So we kicked things off with user interviews, validation sprints, and a lot of what-if sketches. We tested early ideas, ran prototypes, and spent months figuring out not just what was technically possible, but what would actually feel good to use. And honestly, it was a lot of trial and error. But that foundation mattered because it helped us understand how people want to work with AI, especially in a space as personal and expressive as notes. So fast forward to now, we are working on Goodnotes AI, right? And this time we are not starting from blank space. We have a great user base. It was used by millions of people. And from the scale, we started to see strong patterns. What we've seen is that, for instance, people didn't just want a chatbot. They wanted something smart, scoped, and contextual. Something that worked with their notes, not separate from them. We saw that prompting from lasso selection was one of the most used entry points. It just made sense. You highlight what you need help with, and then the agent meets you there, right? We also saw quick actions take off. They quickly became one of the most wanted and used entry points to the agent because they lowered the barrier to trying AI. It felt effortless, and that made all of the difference. Then there was an icebreaker. Those had one of the highest conversation rates into actual agent usage, especially during the first time sessions. That was a strong signal that onboarding really matters and that small nudges can unlock real confidence in users. And there was much more. As I mentioned before, it was a paradigm shift in how we think about collaboration between humans and AI. To get it right, we layered in as much validation as we could. We jumped daily, tested flows across iPad and mobile, recorded feedback sessions, and called each other out when something felt clocky, inconsistent, or just too AI-ish. That tight design-to-design feedback loop was critical to shape the final feel. We were also running a lot of user interviews with our audience to understand your expectations, right? And hesitations in real workflows. We also run a lot of A/B tests and concepts experiments, playing with different agent placements, prompts formats, and tones to see what felt approachable versus overwhelming. So, and something I'm really proud of, we constantly checked our work against our personas, and it held up. What we heard in testing aligned with the needs and pain points we predicted during early strategy work. So that's when we knew we weren't just building something clever. We were building something coherent, something that actually fit into people's work, what they think and what they do.
Learnings and failures. Indeed, there were many topics that came up during all this testing that needed a bit more attention. For example, we realized that you might not always want these edits and results to appear directly on your documents. You might be feeling a bit anxious and thinking, oh, I don't want AI to mess up my doc. These were some literal comments that some of our colleagues told us. In some cases, you not understanding where the agent is going to edit and predict what it's going to change. So for those moments, we decided to introduce a concept called the sandbox. Imagine you're in this situation where you have some good notes, sticky notes, a bit scattered and messy in your file, and you want some help cleaning them up. So you will ask your AI to clean it up for you and a few other things. This process begins, you see that it's doing its magic, and suddenly you have some suggestion or some results. So we introduced this sandbox environment where you can preview those changes before they're edited in your document, and you can clearly see what's changed in the before and the after here at the top, or make some further modifications until you're fully happy and you have accepted it and added back to your notes. So this is what we call the sandbox environment, and it's another way of previewing and chatting with your agent that we hope is useful for you when you need a bit of help or organization in your files. Our conclusion is that we really think that we've achieved a true partnership or collaboration with your AI agent or features. We think that this partnership is achieved by working both together in your document, in your Canva, and removing any of these annoying barriers to comparing, checking, doing back and forth, and any additional work steps that make you step out of your workflow. Understanding each other, having those clarification questions, having these shots on your area of the document that you want to discuss together, and by keeping it very transparent with all these status updates, feedback loops, the sandbox environment for review. We really believe that we've introduced some workflow patterns that will help you stay focused on refining, on cleaning up, and making really great documents while getting a bit of support through this agent along the way. I'd really like to see how Goodnotes AI can take any of these quick meeting notes into something that I can bring into a meeting in just a few clicks, maybe some slides or presentations. I struggle in my own head to get my ideas and concepts come together. I can have many drafts before I settle onto something. So if I could get a bit of brainstorming support, some suggestions or edits in my documents, that will be really useful. Plus, I run a lot of workshops and ideation sessions, so that partner that can help me prepare or bring together some exercises before a session, it's also really nice help. So yes, we've come a long way to bring you today all these exciting features that we've worked really hard to bring them to life. There are a few that I'm really excited for, and I cannot wait to hear your thoughts.
Okay, so what we shared today is just the beginning. We are building a space where typing isn't just about putting words on a page, it's about capturing messy ideas, shaping them with AI, and turning them into something you are really proud of. We are really proud of as a Goodnotes users. We are looking for thinking partners, people who are excited to rethink how they write, create, and collaborate with AI. Whether you are a writer, researcher, student, consultant, or a part of the team that works on the documents together, we want to hear from you. Literally, I want to hear from you.